Hello, my name is Anya Ledwith from Eshcon. Today I'd like to spend a few minutes helping you to seize the net zero opportunity. Eshcon is an environmental management consultancy, and I help startups, fast growth and corporates to reduce their impacts, cut costs, save time and win business. This is effective environmental management. When we talk about environmental issues, we quite often have very negative images of the sea level rising, floods, polar bears emaciated. I try to be a little bit more positive, a little bit more optimistic, and I want to share some photos here of our beautiful, complex, wonderful world. If all of the businesses work together to embed the environment into core operations, we have the opportunity of having clean air, clean water, healthy soils, healthy people, healthy planet. We all have an opportunity here to help improve our world, but also improve our business as well. COVID has shown us particularly that consumers are more interested in what they're buying. I've seen loads and loads of research. Just this research here from Capgemini said that 65% of consumers were more mindful of the impact of their purchases post-lockdown. But it wasn't just a knee-jerk reaction. 80% of them had changed their purchasing habits in the last 12 months to consider social or environmental issues. So there is very much a business opportunity for you here. Climate change is a very complex subject. I'm not going to go into the details of the science behind it, but I just wanted to share this image here. It's a good way of visualizing very complex climate data. These are the climate stripes from the University of Reading. Each one of these stripes represents a year, and it shows the average global temperatures over the last 170 years. Darker blue stripes are colder years. Red, dark red, are much warmer years. And we can see from left to right, as the years go by, we are warming, and that is down to human impact. So what are we doing about it? Well, countries across the world are actually committing to net zero, legally binding targets that they are adopting. No increase in emissions from 1990 levels. The UK was the first to do this, so net zero by 2050, but Korea, China and Japan are also doing this. But is it just up to countries, to governments to deliver? Well, no, businesses are taking the opportunity as well. Business leaders particularly are looking not only at their operational footprint, but also their supply chain. Unilever, BT and IKEA are three ones that really spring to mind. And if they're looking at their supply chain, you know that this is going to trickle down to the rest of us. So how can I take you on your net zero journey? It is a complex issue. So I've tried to break it down into 5 easy steps for you, because ultimately, if it's too complicated, you're not going to get started. So if we can make it easy, make it straightforward, you're far more likely to succeed. So the first stage is to calculate your carbon footprint. To do this, you collect 12 months of data, looking at the energy within your buildings, electricity, gas, oil, etc. Your business travel, like cars, vehicles, air travel, etc. The materials you're using, the water that you're using, the waste you're producing, all of this, gather this data, apply some emissions factors, and you get your carbon footprint given in tons of carbon dioxide. And you use that to focus on where you can make your biggest improvements in terms of your biggest impacts from emissions reduction, but also quite often it will save you most money as well. Next stage is to set your target, and your target will depend on what your business objectives are. Is it just to reduce carbon? Then say reduce by 10%. That is a good target to set. Or you may want to be carbon neutral. So calculate your emissions, offset your emissions immediately. You will be carbon neutral. Or you may want to set more aspirational targets of being net zero. And that combines both reductions of emissions, but also offsetting. And the key point here is what date you want to set: 2025, 2030, 2050 maybe. Knowing what date you're aiming at will help you in the next stage to develop your action plan. And in the action plan, this is what you're committing to doing to reduce your emissions and achieve your target. Follow the carbon management hierarchy. Firstly, avoid. Avoided emissions are always the best. So think about your strategy, your investments that you're purchasing, the issues, products, etc. that you're purchasing. Secondly, reduce. Reduce your energy within your buildings, electricity, gas, oil, etc. Your activities through business travel. There are so many opportunities to reduce and therefore mitigate. And then substitute. What can you do differently? Instead of purchasing normal brown electricity, go for renewables, go for green electricity tariff, or maybe even produce your own energy by putting up solar panels maybe on your roof. And the last stage is to compensate, to offset your unavoidable emissions. And that's stage 4 on your net zero journey, is to rebalance your carbon emissions. So choose good quality offsetting projects, energy efficiency projects, good woodland management projects that you are confident in, that the offsets that you're purchasing do actually contribute to emissions reduction across the world. And you do that by using your the carbon footprint that you got. So if it's 30 tonnes or 300 tonnes, you buy 30 or 300 tonnes of CO2 equivalent in offsetting projects. But you need to do that each year. And then lastly, review. It's always good management practice to review your activities and look for improvement. So go back to your carbon footprint. You'll need to recalculate it every year anyway, but then readdress your target in your action plans. Are you on target? Are you on? How is your progress going? Are there any tweaks that you need to make? You might find that net zero isn't for you. There certainly are cost elements to the purchase of the offsettings. So don't put off the whole net zero journey completely. Maybe don't rebalance yet. Set your target that you will rebalance by 2030, for example. That's when you purchase your offsets. If you want to be carbon neutral now, you do it right now, and that's what I've done with my business. But if you want to push the rebalancing to one side, just focus on your reductions. There are still loads of opportunities to help reduce your emissions and, you know, have a more productive, more effective business. And it helps you communicate with your customers as well. So I can help you on your net zero journey. It is a complicated process, but I really do try to make it straightforward so it is more achievable for you and you will be successful. Check out my website. There's guides on there for your net zero target and loads of information about environmental management and carbon management. And hopefully I'll see you soon.